ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. All right, so as announced during the week, as part of our ongoing Gita Genius program, some of you who have nominated or who have volunteered would begin the program with a 5-minute introduction, 5 minute giving a presentation on the topic that I have shared. So right now we are doing with the introduction for all of you. So Grishab is going to speak on the first segment of the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. We have divided introduction to Bhagavad Gita in 6 parts. So there would be another 5 devote kids or the teenagers will get a chance to speak on it. All right, Bishop. So you can wait a second. Let me make you co-host. So you can share your screen and start with your presentation. Please go ahead.
So, Hare Krishna, everyone. My name is Grishab. So, today, as Prabhuji said, I would be giving a short summary on the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. Well, this short presentation of mine basically answers few questions like why only choosing the Bhagavad Gita in the form like as it is, without any certain interpretations by any sort of commentators. How did Arjuna accept the Bhagavad Gita? What kind of mood should be there for accepting the Bhagavad Gita? And certain in that manner certain questions are answered. So I will proceed with my presentation. So yeah, why only the Bhagavad Gita as it is? So the first very statement to defend this is authority. So the example is, if you take a medicine, of course you cannot just take any sort of medicine by your own self. You would definitely need you need to follow the instructions on it, or you need to take the help of a physician or doctor. So basically the Bhagavad Gita, we cannot understand it with someone else's own interpretations, because we already know that on every page of the Bhagavad Gita Krishna is mentioned. Why should we hear it then someone apart from Krishna? If people apart from Krishna giving their commentary, it definitely means there are certain motives behind it. So yeah, so that basically means we have to listen to the directions which came directly from Krishna. So, as I said, since Krishna is mentioned on every page of the Bhagavad Gita, therefore it's important to understand his instructions rather than one's own interpretations. Now, this very second question which arrives is what is the reason for speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? So the 3 verses come over here. It goes like, I would just give you the short summary of it. So in short, Krishna explains to Arjuna how the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was first spoken to the sun god. The sun god then spoke it to Manu, then Manu spoke it to Ikshvaku, basically the dynasty to which Ram belonged. And therefore, by disciplic succession, the yoga system of the Bhagavad Gita has been coming down, and gradually during the course of time, it had to somehow, it got disrupted and it became lost. And therefore, Krishna found the perfect opportunity to recite, to speak the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna back on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and reintroduce this yoga system. So then, why only Arjuna? Yes. The reason is the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna. Since Krishna was a devotee of Krishna, since Arjuna was a devotee of Krishna, plus a direct student, plus being his intimate friend, as we all know, as he listened to the suggestions of Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and all that sort of stuff. To understand the Bhagavad Gita, a devotee must be in the direct relationship with the Lord and possess qualities similar to Arjuna. Now, when we speak about direct relationship with the Lord, there are 5 sorts of ways in which we can have a personal relationship with the Lord. And these are as follows. One may be a devotee in a passive state. When you talk about passive state, it basically means that you understand that Krishna is God and you pray to him with love. That's it. Then you can be a devotee in an active state. It's one step higher than the passive state, which means that you're serving Krishna as a servant. And then third, one may be a devotee as a friend, as we can see in the case of Arjuna or Sudama or Madhumangal. And then one may be devotee as a parent, as we can see as Yashoda, Nand Maharaj, Devaki, and Vasudev. And finally, one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover, which is basically Srimati Radharani. So, yes, this is one of the main aspects of the Bhagavad Gita. How did Arjuna accept the Bhagavad Gita? Before it's like there are some people who try to, when they read the Bhagavad Gita, they read it in a debating spirit. Like they want to change certain points. What they read, they want to say that Krishna is wrong and they want to add their own plots to it. But no, our mood should be like how Arjuna accepted the Bhagavad Gita. So these are the verses. And basically, Arjuna said that to Krishna, you're the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narad, Asita, Deval, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And know you yourself, now you or yourself are declaring it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Well, now it may seem very simple that since Arjuna and Krishna were such good friends, Arjuna, out of just to flatter Krishna, spoke such, like, praised him. But well, Arjuna in the upcoming verses also, he gives a reason to support this. Why? Why is he accepting the truth of Krishna? So, the reasons for this is Krishna is not only accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead by himself, that Arjuna says this, but also by great personal authorities like Narad, Asita Dev, and Vyasadev. Of course, we know that Vyasadev himself, the composer of the Vedas, they distributed Vedic knowledge, and we are currently following in their footsteps. And then from this, Arjuna concludes that whatever Krishna says to be completely perfect and flawless. And then in the verse, it says, Sarvam etad ritam manye. I accept everything you say to be true. Now, before I end, the last question. Arjuna says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very difficult to understand, and that he cannot even be understood by the great demigods, which directly tell us that the Lord cannot be even understood by personalities greater than human beings. So, how can a human being understand Lord Shri Krishna without becoming his devotee? Well, if one really, really wants to try to understand the Bhagavad Gita, its goal, its purpose, its aim, then he should be aware of the following things. Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. As I said, Bhagavad Gita should not be taken in a spirit, in a debating spirit, in a spirit where you're trying to take authority of the Bhagavad Gita, in which you're trying to change points according to your own self. And then one should not think that he's Krishna, or Krishna is an ordinary personality, or even a very great personality. because Krishna is directly the supreme personality of Godhead. You can never even think that you are Krishna. Well, we are part and parcels of Krishna, but that doesn't mean that we become Krishna. And then one, while reading the Bhagavad Gita, as I said, should try to first theoretically accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Includes avoiding mental speculation. Mental speculation basically means by speculating mentally the the, the translation of the Bhagavad Gita by putting forward your own points. And you should first just accept that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and everything will go on. And therefore, after reading the Bhagavad Gita with that spirit, with the first spirit of accepting Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, you can then understand. You can then taste a drop of the nectar of the Bhagavad Gita. But if they do not try to read the Bhagavad Gita with this submissive spirit, then it would be nearly impossible to understand the great mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Like this, today I hope I answered some very questions which were assigned to me by Madan Sundar Prabhu. I tried my best to explain it to you. I apologize if I made any mistakes in the due course of explaining you. And like this, I would like to say thank you, especially to His Grace Madan Sundar Prabhu and all the devotees associated with this program, and would like to end with Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Grisha, for this wonderful presentation. We'll talk about this at the end of the program where other students can also volunteer. So I'll share the section. You just have to, based on that section, prepare your notes and present it. So let's give a big round of applause at your respective places to Grisha for this wonderful presentation. Or in our traditional term, we can say Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna,
Um,
Rishabh Prabhu, it was amazing. You had perfectly answered everything in very nice flow, very nicely done.
Thank you, Mataji.
After all, you have
right.
been mentored by Madan Sundar, His Grace Madan Sundar Prabhuji. So you ought to be good.
Hare Krishna. So, all right, let's continue with our discussion. We were last time talking about what is the qualification needed to understand Bhagavad Gita or Vedic sciences. Vedic culture is not dominated or defined by skills or caliber, but it is defined by or emphasis given largely on character. So, 13th chapter verses 8 to 12 is what we had introduced last time. And I'm going to take some of the qualities. It's a big subject matter. I will keep coming back to these verses in a future course of our program. But right now, I'm going to focus on some of the qualities. I've chosen 3 to 4 qualities to discuss. And first of that is humility. So let's see how Prabhupada defines humility. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, it's over here. Amanitvam, Adamitvam. So we're going to talk about this first. Then Ahimsa, non-violence, time promise, Saucham, and then Atma Vinigraha also, like that. So let's take a look at how Prabhupada defines this in the purport. Prabhupada says as follows: humility means, anyone would like to read? May please raise your hand. I can call upon your name if you're interested to read. Okay, I'll continue. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. The material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others, but from the point of view of a man in perfect knowledge who knows that he is not this body, anything, honor, dishonor pertaining to this body is useless. One should not hanker after this material deception. People are very anxious to be famous for their religion. This is the second part. And consequently, sometimes it is found that without understanding the principles of religion, one enters into some group which is not actually following religious principles and then wants to advertise himself as a religious mentor. So, the first quality which we wish to speak about is humility. And I'm going to take an example of Arjuna for that and discuss some important lessons from Arjuna's life in the subject matter or in the context of humility. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen with all of you. And if I go here, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I hope this is visible. So let's take a look at it. So we're gonna talk about Arjuna versus Duryodhana in the context of the quality of humility. What is the importance, or is it even relevant? Before I get into it, please understand. I don't know how many of you know of it, but assuming at least you have some basic understanding about who Arjuna was, with that as an understanding, I'll just make a few points about it. Arjuna, during his time, was the world champion in archery. He was the Olympic gold medalist, you want to call it that way. There was no competition, there was no competitor for him. Nobody could defeat, nobody could compete with him in archery. And all in archery, in various other skills of battle, he was expert. He was the excellent man of character, a great man of character, and of course, he was very, very close friend of Lord Shri Krishna. And he was a younger brother of Yudhishthir, who was the king of the whole world. So such a celebrated position. He was the son of Indra, born through Kunti. He had a great birth. He had one of the best educations through Dronacharya. Had relatives like Bhishma Pitama, Vidurji. Had a friend like Lord Shri Krishna. Despite being such a incredible personality, Arjuna, at the battlefield, when he gets confused about his responsibility, he speaks this classic verse. So, this will be the first verse for homework for all of you to read the purport later on. I'll just recite this verse quickly. Karpan. Oh, why don't everyone recite along? That's what we discussed last time, right? So, all of you get the meter. So, all of you can unmute yourself. I'll repeat the line. Please repeat after me. Karpanyadoshoपहता स्वभावा पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसमूढचेतः यश्रेयस्यानिश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् Thank you, everyone. In short, Arjuna is telling to Krishna, my dear Lord, although I'm a son of a great father, I had a great teacher, I'm a very powerful man, undefeatable, nobody could defeat me ever, ever. Yet here at this scene of battle or at the battlefield, I am really, really confused. I don't know what to do. Should I fight or not fight? I don't know what is happening, or I don't know how to make a decision at this point in time, is because of my weakness of heart. Therefore, I kindly request to you, my dear Lord, kindly guide me in terms of how can I improve or how can I make the right decision. So let's move forward. Mother Radha, I'm making you the co-host. If in case somebody gets unmuted incidentally, you
Yes.
can manage the meeting. Otherwise, I'll get distracted while speaking here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, the presentation is visible, I hope, right? Yeah. So Arjuna here expresses, Arjuna was humble. Now, to express one's weakness, it takes a lot of courage, and it takes a lot of humility also to accept one's failure and to admit that I have this weakness, just like Arjuna did it. I mean, can you really express your weakness? Can you really accept your failure? Well, that is something we got to learn from Arjuna here and see how it happens. But unless we accept our own weakness, we cannot defeat our weakness. We cannot rise our weakness, and we cannot succeed in life. As it is said, success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. In today's education system, the culture that we live in, we are somewhere afraid to express our fallacies. If in case we express, then we might get exploited. People will laugh at us. Okay, you don't have to go and tell anyone and everyone, but at least you can go and tell your trusted elder whom you trust, and from whom you can take guidance. Arjuna was 89 years old. Even at that point of time in his life, he needed guidance. What to speak of all of us? Arjuna was humble, and this humility gave him strength to acknowledge and take responsibility of his weakness. Therefore, he could approach Krishna and ask for guidance. Unless we acknowledge our own deficiencies, weaknesses, until then we cannot accept any guidance and cannot rise above our weaknesses. That's the first lesson we see from Arjuna's humility and the importance. Therefore, it is said failure is a stepping stone to success, but only for those who recognize and are eager to learn from their mistakes. Lesson number two from Arjuna's humility. To be progressive in life, it is essential to cultivate humility. Why we should cultivate humility? As I said, this is one of the essential quality to understand Bhagavad Gita, to understand Vedic sciences, to acquire knowledge. Why it is important? Because it protects us from being falsely proud of our accomplishments and strengths, which otherwise can prove futile in another situation or environment. Just like today, we had a classic example of this. Hugh Grisha, one of our teenager, he gave a presentation on the topic which was given to him. But it's very interesting that all that presentation that Grisha presented, he presented as it is, or he spoke as it is, as Srila Prabhupada have written in his introduction. So he presenting that conveyed a strong message because he was speaking Srila Prabhupada's words, and yet he can remain humble, knowing very fact that, I've just taken Prabhupada's words, put it into a presentation, but the whole knowledge comes from Guru or from the Lord. And that way we can remain protected. Otherwise, one may think after giving a short presentation, now I know Bhagavad Gita because I gave a class on Bhagavad Gita. And then in our own life, we'll face challenges. Lesson number three that humility teaches, Arjuna's humility teaches, is the fundamental step in spirituality is to accept Guru. Not only in spirituality, but even in your uh, life, we all need a teacher. You all go to schools, you have your teachers. So if you want to be progressive, we got to accept a teacher who, in Vedic terminology or Sanskrit terminology, is known as Guru. And who should be that person? Should come in parampara. Evam parampara praptam. Therefore, as the saying goes, one who accepts himself as a guru accepts a fool for a disciple. So most things in our life requires guidance and instruction from qualified teachers or elders. Similarly, spiritual discipline is no different, and we need a guru or teacher who can answer and help us and guide us. So, three keys to success that Arjuna teaches through his example or exhibition of humility. First, Arjuna was always eager to learn despite being 89 years old at the time of the battle. He was not saying, I know, I know. This I know syndrome has spread too far, too wide, become a pandemic today. So he was always eager to learn. And yet he was very humble. He was not proud of his accomplishments, his skills, his caliber. And when he realized that he is not able to make a decision, he understood it is my problem, it is my weakness. He acknowledged, expressed, and took a shelter of a bona fide individual or a person who could be better than Lord Shri Krishna or his representatives. So this is how humility brings about a change in one's life. Now, on the other side, let's take a look of Duryodhana's life. Now, Duryodhana, despite creating so many problems in his own life, in others' life, making so many wrong decisions, like asking Vidurji to leave Hastinapur, or prior to that, disrobing Draupadi, insulting Draupadi, or stealing everything from the Pandavas. Duryodhana just made one mistake after another mistake, and he had so many well-wishers who tried to counsel him and guide him, and Duryodhana could never, never take any counsel or good advice because he always felt, I am right, you are wrong. I know everything and you know nothing. And therefore, at the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, when Duryodhana has been beaten down white and blue, blue and red, whatever you want to call it in that way, and Duryodhana is about to die, he looked at Krishna and he called Krishna. He said, Oh Krishna, oh cowherd boy, you are responsible to what has happened to me and what has happened to Kurukshetra, what has happened to all the Kaurava dynasty. And then he began to blame Krishna for the battle of Kurukshetra. And then Krishna said, hey, wait a second. Don't blame me. I'm not responsible for what happened. It is you who are responsible, Duryodhana. And then Lord Shri Krishna made a very profound statement. I like to often repeat this because we need to pay attention to what Krishna said at this point of time. And Krishna said, Duryodhana, you know who's responsible? You. And you know why you are responsible? Because you never ever followed or heard the good counsel and advice of your seniors. You always thought, I know better. Your pride, your arrogance brought you to your own destruction and destruction of your friends and family members. Therefore, Krishna says the very first quality is humility, to be able to understand the subject matter like Vedic sciences. All right, this was about humility. Uh-huh. Non-violence, Krishna says ahimsa. What is the definition of non-violence? We have had a great politician in the land of Bharatvarsha who is glorified all over the world for his staunch adherence to non-violence. You can slap me on one face, I will on one cheek, and I'll give you my another cheek to slap me again. So that was the understanding and definition on violence. You can hit me, you can kill me, but I will not say anything. Well, that is one, I would say, a perverted reflection of the understanding of, or perverted understanding of what non-violence means. Lord Shri Krishna explains non-violence does not mean to get beaten down by your enemies or adversaries. If that was the case, then Krishna would have told Arjuna, put down your Gandiva bow, Arjuna, go in front of Karna and teach him the message of non-violence and peacefully ask him, my dear Karna, beg Duryodhana, my dear Duryodhana, kindly return my rightful kingdom. And if they slap you on your right cheek, then with full confidence, bring your left cheek and say, all right, you can hit me here also. Well, that is not what Krishna said in non-violence. So what does non-violence mean when Krishna said ahimsa? Violence is to restrict or to prevent an individual from recognizing the self, from establishing one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. Let me give you an example, and let's see if it makes sense to all of you. You have to give me an answer as 1, 2, 3, okay? So those of you who have your camera on, you can raise your finger and answer 1, 2, 3. Those your cameras are off, then you can type on the chat. We'll take a look at it. Imagine you are a friend of Ambani's, or let's say those who are in America, a friend of Elon Musk, and his son has been lost. You know, in old movies in 80s, कोई भी बिछड़ा हुआ भाई और बहन हमेशा कुंभ मेले में खोती थी. So imagine, you know, Elon Musk had lost his son, or maybe Ambani ji had lost his son or a daughter long, long ago, and you are a great friend, close friend of these rich people. You're driving or you're traveling in a car with your father or a parent like that, and on the intersection at the traffic signal on a road, a beggar comes and knock on your door, and he says, you know, give me something, give me some biksha, like this. And you look at that beggar, and when you look at that beggar closely, you realize, hey, this is my childhood friend, the son of the Ambanis or the son of the Elon Musk, who lost long ago. Now you have few options that you can do for him. You can ask your father, my dear father, you know, after all, he's a son of our good friend. We should give him a little more charity. Although you give 1 rupee to every beggar, let's give him 100 rupees. Good, because he has been your childhood friend. Unfortunately, has become a beggar. So give him 100 rupees. That is one option you can do it. Second option, oh, he's my friend who got lost long ago and he has forgotten about his, you know, childhood and to whom he belongs to. Let me go and put him in Anath Ashram and will provide for his free education and free lodging and free food. This is the second thing which you can do. Agreed? And the third thing that you can do is knowing that whose son he is or she is, you put him in the car and take him back to his father, knowing the father is the richest person in the world. If he goes back to his father, then he doesn't have to struggle. He doesn't have to really work for himself. Everything will be taken care for him. So, my dear kids, if in case I was able to convey my message here, what would you like to do for your friend who has been long lost? Would you like to get him 100 rupees? Or would you like to go and put him in Anath Ashram so that his education and food is provided by you? Or would you like to put him in the car and take him back to his father, who can take him back? So, how many will say one, two, three? Please go ahead, give your options. Those of you online, you can just raise your fingers. I'll get to see with that. Okay, 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 okay. So, yes. So, all of you agree here? So, taking him back to his father is the best and the wisest decision. However, if you don't do that, and if you just give him 100 rupees charity, or if you just put him in anath ashram, still keeping him away from his father, don't help him remember whose son is he or she, the daughter she is, that becomes an act of violence. This is called as violence. To prevent someone from re-establishing their relationship with the Supreme Lord or Father is called as violence. All right. So that's understanding of the word violence. Let's move forward here, and I'll speak a little bit of cleanliness here. Now, what is cleanliness? It's again a very, very important quality. Cleanliness is at two levels. Prabhupada writes, is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. In fact, the saying says cleanliness is next to godliness. There are two kinds of cleanliness: external cleanliness and internal. What is external and what is internal? All of you, we all have survived through the COVID times. How many of you kids remember there were constant advertisements in the news media or in the TV platform, etc., or maybe on the radio, or when you will dial a phone, then the message will come, dear citizens of this country, to take care of your good health, make sure uh, every time you go out or you touch anything to wash your hands. And wash your hands very neatly and nicely. Put a good soap in your hand, rinse your hand, and wash it off with water, right? You remember hearing that? Well, in case if all these people would have read Bhagavad Gita, this one word, cleanliness, you didn't have to spend so much money telling people how to wash your hands or how to wipe your body. The cleanliness is a basic quality which we need to abide by. It's good for health, it's good for consciousness. So, one level of cleanliness is taking bath every morning when you wake up, despite how austere it seems at times, how much lazy we may be. But if we maintain cleanliness, then we keep a good health. Then that's about the body. But what about the cleanliness of the mind? And the cleanliness of the mind happens through by bathing our mind in the spiritual sound vibration. Hare Krishna. So let's everyone unmute yourself again. Let's bathe our consciousness in the spiritual sound vibration. Let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you. You can mute yourself. So there is a one level of cleanliness where we bathe ourselves, we wash our hands with a soap, and then there's a second level of cleanliness which is far much more important. That is our consciousness, which is done by bathing our consciousness in the spiritual sound vibration of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Like that, we follow the principle of cleanliness. Hare Krishna. Let me make the last attempt here. I know we are hitting on the time here now. And the one thing which I would like to speak, should I speak now? Okay, let's cover it up. Is about the senses. Sense control is another very important feature. We should be have a we should be able to restrain our senses or the whims of the mind. And Prabhupada senses are so strong that they're always anxious to have sense gratification. So, therefore, in Vedic sciences and Vedic culture, there are rules and regulations defining the conduct of an individual, particularly of a student. What to eat, what not to eat, how much to eat, how to live, how not to live, etc., etc. And sometimes people get frightened of it and they say there are too many rules and regulations. I'm going to show you one scientific experiment which proves the kids or the individuals that have better sense control are more successful in their life. I repeat again, a scientific experiment. I'm going to just play it out for all of you right now. Those who have better sense control are more successful in their lives. Let's take a look right away.
Okay, sit in that chair. All right, here's the deal. Marshmallow for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another one. So then you'll have.
All of you watch it carefully and tell me, what did you observe from this little scientific experiment, a very famous experiment known by the name of marshmallow test. So what has happened here, there are young kids. And
I'm gonna go do something, and then I'll come back.
It's yummy.
And they have been given a sweet known by the name of marshmallow, which is really loved by kids. And they've been asked, if you can avoid eating marshmallow till the time I come back, then I'll give you more marshmallows. So now the kids have to restrain themselves from eating one. If they restrain, then they'll get two more. That's an experiment to see how many of them can restrain. Let's see.
All right, so it's up to you. You can have it now, or you can wait. Okay? I'll be back. Stay in the chair, okay? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna leave and then I'll come back, okay? So you can either eat it right now or you can wait. Either way, okay? Okay.
Some just could not hold on, and some tolerated.
How'd you do?
And here the teacher
Did you
comes
do
back.
good? You did? You wanted to eat it, didn't you? Yeah. So did I tell you to give you another one? Okay, now you can have both. You need them.
So this boy passed. So this is a very famous scientific study, which was not only restricted for this 5 minutes exercise. The psychologists studied the students for the next 15 years of their life. And then they published a paper on it. It's a very famous paper called as Marshmallow Research Project. And the conclusion of this research was as follows. The kids who were able to restrict themselves and follow the instructions given to them, don't eat. If you don't eat, I'll give you one more. So those who had a greater sense control, the psychologists found later on in their life, they were far much more successful, or in fact successful, in comparison to all those boys and girls who, despite hearing, if you wait, you'll get two or you'll get more, they just could not control, could not hear, and they just ate it. They just couldn't even graduate from their college. So this is the importance of restraining senses, not artificially or superficially. There are ways for it that we'll discuss sometime in future. But these are some of the things which are required to become a good student of Vedic sciences. Once again, I'll just summarize what did we looked at in a brief time here. We spoke about humility, as Krishna says, and we compared it of Arjuna's humility with Duryodhana's pride. Krishna says ahimsa, non-violence. We saw non-violence as practiced and preached by one famous politician of this great land of Bharata some 70 years ago. Unlike the definition of non-violence given by Krishna or in Vedic culture, because Arjuna wanted to practice somewhat similar kind of non-violence, but he wanted to walk away from the battlefield, but Krishna did not encourage. And then we talked about Saucham, cleanliness. External cleanliness is by bathing, and internal cleanliness is by bathing the consciousness with spiritual sound vibration. And then sense control, our famous marshmallow test. So these were some of the things. And next time onwards, when we catch up again, we'll get into the topic and subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. When Bhagavad Gita was spoken, what is the context of Bhagavad Gita, what is the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita, what is the qualification required for us after having certain fundamentals set for all of us. Let's dive into the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 1, wherein all of you will still continue to give your respective presentations from the introduction to Bhagavad Gita as written by Srila Prabhupada. So before we conclude here quickly, I hope all of you have marked your attendance. Secondly, who all would be interested to give a presentation? Can you please raise your hands here? And maybe later on in the chat, Mother Radha Mandali can ask and you can reply on the chat and then she can assign you. That's the second thing. And third thing, if in case you teenagers have your parents around, maybe you can just call them quickly for a second. I have a quick announcement for your parents. Okay? So, जोर से आवाज लगाओ, mommy, or maybe papa, whatever you want to call. Okay? Don't call daddy, huh? Daddy is dead. Not a good word. Papa is still better. So please call out our parents quickly. We'll make a quick announcement and convey the message to them. And then we'll conclude our today's discussion. So, dear parents, if you are around, so we are concluding this our third session of Gita Genius program, a third episode. Just like in the previous episode, I had announced about Bhagavad Gita is not only about education, but it is also about practical action. So we continue to give and share education at our respective ability, but we'll also like to offer a program that we call as a mentorship program. So we are launching that mentorship program. Yeah, here it is. All of you are able to see the browser? Now this is called mentorship for teens here. Hide. So we have created a sign up page for the teenagers. For those of you who have already signed in the program, when you sign in and come here, your information will be auto-populated here. We just wanted to collate and know who all are interested to sign up for this program. When you're all going to sign up for this program, you will be assigned to a group called as Mentorship for Teens. I'll share the link with all of you also, and you will get to see all the members here. So I'll share a short video of how to create your profile on the website and put your nice photo. So here we'll get to know who all are the members of this forum who are signing up for this mentorship program. And then we'll also assign teachers here or the mentors here. And then we'll make a grouping here. And then the next course of action, I'll probably define or tell all of you in our next meeting. So this is what it is. I'll share the details on the group. So all of you, those of you are interested for signing up for this mentorship program and what's all going to happen, I will share that plan in the next meeting. And parents are welcome to revert back to me if they have any thoughts onto this or any suggestions for this mentorship program. You can feel free to write to me. You can write to Mother Radha Mandali, Mother Priyanka, she's also an admin here. I saw Mother Poonam from Australia. She's also here. And Mother Anang Manjari from America. She's also would be here or probably would join later on. So you can connect with any of our existing mentors. I'll be adding more mentors, and let's make this mentorship program a success for our teens. All of us understand the teenage years are a year where actually we undergo an extreme amount of loneliness, and we really look forward for a friend who can hear to us, but it has to be different from our parents. Somehow, because of generation gap, we cannot align well with our parents. So to create that facility, to offer that as a facility, we are creating this to, and one of the goals would be to harmonize relationship between the teenagers and the parents, and also to guide them with their ongoing struggles as they undergo physical and hormonal changes and that causes havoc in their consciousness. I hope all of you have gone through your teenage years. You remember our good old teenage struggles. So, undergone those struggles, I try my best to provide a facility so that our teenagers doesn't have to go through that struggle. Either be the career guidance, educational guidance, or whatever guidance. We'll try to create that forum. All right. So many of you had asked to ping the message, is there any fees involved? Sorry, there's no fees involved for education. In Vedic culture, there's no fees. So only your participation and your sincerity is what is needed. And Guru Dakshina, whenever you want, you can do it. That's voluntary. But that's not something we ask for. So there's no fees for the program. What is expected? A qualification for the program for mentorship is you will have to, all those who are signing up for the program have to definitely come for every Sunday morning class. Therefore, we have created a system of attendance. And those who we see regularly, for them, we'll offer this mentorship program. All right, Mother Radha Mandali will share the details on the WhatsApp group, how to sign up for this program. And hopefully all of you would have my contact details. Don't send me a voice note, please. I really can't hear all the voice notes. If you have anything to share with me, send me a message. I'll review it and revert back to you. Okay, and those of you who are interested to give a presentation, we have 5 more parts of the introduction. So 5 students can volunteer. Akansh hand is up. Don't be shy. Don't be humble while volunteering. Okay. Other times you can express your humility, but when I ask you to take part, don't shy away that time. This is your forum. You need to be active about it. Don't shy away from it. Mother Radha Mandali post a message. You all can respond, and accordingly we'll share your syllabus and content to present. And once you are prepared, ready with your presentation, please revert back to me so I can review it. And if in case there's some correction or modification, I can let you know. Okay. And all the best. Thank you all for joining in. So sorry we got extended, for a few sessions till we set our protocol, how the program is going to run. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very, very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Participants, please, I request you to give your attendance. And there is one query here. Somebody is saying that I am not logged in and forgot my password.
So you have a Google sign-in option. You can sign in with your Google credentials. So generally, everyone will have a Google account. So when you go on the login page, you'll see the sign in with Google. Just log in with that. That's it. Okay? It's straightforward. Don't worry about it.
All right. We can pass the same link on the WhatsApp group. You can give your attendance there as well.
Actually, we should restrict sharing that link on the WhatsApp. Then absentees will also mark the attendance. Attendance should be marked while those who are present on the Zoom meeting.
Okay.
So today you can do that. Next time onward, we'll restrict that.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Okay. And then only we can really qualify our mentorship program. All right. Hare Krishna. Thank you, kids. Thank you, teenagers. Thank you, parents.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the